Welcome to Lifing 101, a journey through life's experiences, challenges, and interpretations. An intriguing and soul-refining podcast that explores the countless twists of life. Get ready to be amused, enlightened, entertained, empowered, and inspired. Hosted by Tina C. Christian, your MC with the LPC, and guest co-host Lorenda McKinney, your MC with the PhD.
Welcome, lovely listeners, to an exciting episode of Lifing 101 podcast,
where we dive into life's little mysteries and offer you insights to help you lead a happier, more fulfilling life.
I'm your MC with the LPC, Tina C. Christian, navigating y'all through this journey up and down and all around on this emotional roller coaster we call life.
And I'm your MC with the PhD, Lorenda McKinney. So grab your favorite beverage, find a comfortable spot, sit back and relax while we embark on this restorative journey together.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening out there. Doc, how are you doing today?
I'm okay.
Okay. So you're okay. Okay. So how are you feeling today?
I guess I'm okay.
I'm okay too. But honestly, that's what we're talking about today. I'm okay, but I'm not okay. And I ask you, how are you doing? Because a lot of times, you ask people that and they say, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm okay. But honestly, what does that mean? And when I say, how are you feeling? And people tell me they're okay, because I'm a therapist, I think, well, okay is not a feeling. So if I had to ask you, how are you feeling? And you used an emotion like happy, glad, sad, mad, what emotion would you use if I said, how are you feeling?
If I wanted you to pry a little, I still would say okay, because I know that if I say okay, and normally when you ask me, I say good, a real person is going to go, that's not normal. She's saying okay. She's not saying good. So that's why when you ask me, because how many times do we ask people, how you doing? They say okay, and you keep it moving. Instead of saying, okay, what's going on? Because are you asking because you want to know? Or are you asking because it's just a gesture and it's polite for you to ask somebody how they're doing?
Right. I know. With clients, I would always say, how are you feeling? And everybody would always say, I'm good, or I'm okay. And I'm like, okay, again, if good or okay was a feeling or an emotion, what would that be? Because a lot of times we say okay or good because we just don't want people to pry, or we want people to think that we're okay,
Yeah.
And we're good.
Yeah, it could go either way. You could be trying to clear it so people can say, oh, she's okay, and going about their business. You could be given as a silent cry for help, kind of. And I say silent because you're saying okay, but you're not venting what it really is. And you're just hoping that someone knows, just like they say that you're real people, notice through your silence that you're not okay.
Right.
If somebody that you normally talk to all the time and the conversation is very limited, surely they should see that this is not the person that I normally talk to. So something is going on. Because I've said okay to people and they go, what's really going on? And then you're like, okay, I'm going to tell them.
Right. Well, again, that's the topic today. And I felt like that was important and that it should be a topic today because I woke up feeling full of emotions today. And so I tell myself that I'm okay. When I start feeling this way, honestly, I'm like, you're okay. You're going to get through it. And nothing in particular was going on, but I do know that sometimes I mask.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there masking.
Yeah.
Telling themselves that they're okay, because that's what we do. We get up, we put one foot in front of the other, and we keep on moving, and we fake it till we make it and all that good stuff. But sometimes, you're okay, but you're not okay.
Right.
And so I think I sent that to you, I sent that to you earlier and just kind of explained to you where I'm at and why I wanted to do that topic. Actually, I wanted that to be the very first topic of this podcast. However, I was like, that may be a little too much, for the first topic. But back in February, I was really doing some soul searching. And that's because I decided I was no longer going to be a therapist. And at that time, I felt like I'm okay, but I'm not okay. And I actually sent an email. I wrote something out and I sent an email to my closest friends, 3 of them. I sent it to them and then I wrote it out and then I went to therapy and I dealt with it. So it was like, I'm okay, but I'm not okay. And why am I not okay? And that's because I had so many things that I have been pushing down and suppressing, and so many losses, and the job, the love of my career was like the last straw.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow, I love this career so much. And now all of a sudden I woke up one day and I dreaded it.
Right. It's like a breakup.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a breakup because that's what you wanted it really bad. It was a relationship for you.
Yes.
And then when we're saying we're okay, we actually just feel like we don't have time to be anything but okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you just keep moving. So
yeah, we're strong for other people.
Mm-hmm.
And especially like for our family and or our friends that believe that we are the stronger person, and or our clients, for like me, somebody that was a therapist. I was really trying to be okay, and I really thought that I was okay, and to a certain degree I was, but then again I was not okay. So I'm happy that I went and I dealt with it to a certain degree, and I'm still dealing with stuff because I'm human. But I just want to speak to that and to the people out there that may be doing the same thing, saying I'm okay, but in their mind they're thinking, but I'm really not okay.
Right. Because you're probably waiting for it to just work itself out and get better.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of things just won't go away. So you have to address them, or they will stay, or they might spiral into a bigger problem, or they might cause other problems. So it's better to address it and just confront it. And you know what me and Tina are going to say. Go to therapy. We know everybody doesn't want to take advantage of it. But once again, go to therapy. And if your company offers it, and I'm sure they do, utilize that employee assistance program. Utilize it.
Yes, ma'am.
Why not? It's there.
Yeah.
It's just as important as breathing every day, because if you're not mentally healthy, you're not healthy.
Yeah. And honestly, if you're pretending to be okay and you're just getting up, putting one foot in front of the other, it will work for you for a little while and to a certain degree. But at some point, you're going to have to really deal with the fact that you're not really okay. And that's okay.
Right.
That's what I really want to point out. It's okay not to be okay.
Exactly. And you don't want to crash and burn. So it's better to realize what's going on. And if you are a spiritual person or a religious person, because I know people use different terms, make sure that you have a good relationship with whoever it is that you worship. Make sure that you pray. Make sure that you talk to God, because I know for a fact that by the time I hit my bed, probably at 5:30 now because it get dark early, y'all know how I feel. But by the time I hit my bed, I probably have called on him so much. He's probably like, oh my God, this child again. But when I go to the restroom, I say a quick prayer in a heartbeat, because hey, if nobody can help you, he can. So not to throw the religion thing out there, but if you are a believer, hey, you got to include that prayer as a component, because sometimes that's all you have.
Right. And as a mental health professional, I'd like to think that there are multiple things that we can do to aid us in our well-being. And that is from physical things to religious things, spiritual things to therapeutic things. There's not a one size fits all for anybody.
Right.
What works for you may not work for the next person, and vice versa. So I say, yes, prayer is and can work for a lot of people. Meditation can work for some. Therapy can work for many people. Going to church, whatever your vice is that will help you, you know, relying on your friends and family and your supports there, whatever it is. It's okay not to be okay. That's the main thing I want to point out, and I want people to know. I started thinking back in February, like, why am I not okay? You know, so I had to start just taking inventory, and I made a list of a lot of things that had happened. And I started realizing that because I am such a strong person, and I'm expected to be, that I haven't even grieved some of the losses, or I hadn't even grieved some of the losses that I had going on in my life. Way back from childhood even. And so a lot of times we have a lot of childhood adverse experiences and things that happen, or traumas that we've never resolved. We just kind of keep on going and move on and hope that we can be, you know, a better person or a great person without dealing with that stuff. Whether it's traumas and relationship issues or whatever, sometimes you really just have to stop and deal with that stuff. I'm sorry. You have to face the roar, face the lion, you know, and deal with it, because it'll keep showing up.
Right.
It'll keep showing up in your life in different ways, in different relationships. And so if you're out there telling yourself, I'm okay, but I'm not okay, just know that that's okay. And then decide what you're going to do. Because that's what I did. I started asking myself questions after I figured out, okay, I'm okay, but I'm not okay. So what am I going to do about it? What do I do now? Where do I go from here? How can I fix this? What is my issue? Start asking yourself those hard questions. But again, that's why therapy can be such a helpful tool, because they're going to ask you those hard questions you're afraid to ask yourself, or the questions that you know you should be asking that you're not, or the things that you don't want to face because they're so painful. But it really, truly helped me to realize the things that I was actually trying to avoid.
Right. And therapy will touch on some things that you did not even think about. But one thing to remember is it's not abnormal to react to something that is abnormal. So you have a right to not be okay for something that's not normal.
Right.
So that's kind of natural. But therapy is going to touch on a lot of things that you may think is small. And it could be the thing that's trickling down, a trickle effect to something else. So I think that it is important because you can address a lot of things. Plus, once you do that, you at least know that you've made an attempt to try to get to the bottom of it.
Right. And like you said, it could be something really small. It could be your trigger, and you could really be having something going on, underlining reason why this little thing is constantly bothering you. It could be something that happened in your childhood or in a previous relationship, or something that happened at work, or even with a friendship or anything, and you just kind of pushed it down and suppressed it, and you're not dealing with it. But just know that we're all human. We get triggered by different things. We're affected by different things. And it's okay to reach out and seek help whenever you need it, through whatever means or whatever vice, you choose to utilize. But don't sit there and suffer in silence or alone or isolate or feel like you're abnormal because you're going through something, because we all go through something. Show me somebody that's perfect. And like I said before, and I'll show you a liar. Right. Because we all have problems. We all go through things in our life. I know no one that's had a perfect life with no type of trauma or drama or things in their life that have made them sad or worried.
And I think that's one of the things is people don't realize you have to grieve from even the smallest things. It's not just death. You have to grieve from a lot of things just so that you can get past it. So everybody doesn't grieve the same. Everybody's time limit's not the same. Just because what it took one person 2 weeks, you don't set yourself up to say, I got to be over it in 2 weeks. You do what feels good for you. And I think a lot of times people set the guideline without just living it out and seeing how this is going to work out. So you have to go through that grieving process for whatever it is. And it doesn't matter if it's a career. It doesn't matter if it's a person. It doesn't matter if it's a friendship or whatever it is, or a bad habit. It doesn't matter what it is. It's something that you used to having around and you no longer do. So there's a grieving process for it.
Correct. And I'm glad you said it and I didn't, because as a therapist, yes, people would expect me to say it, but I'm glad to hear you say it, because honestly, people don't realize how much any loss you have to, you kind of grieve that loss.
You do.
And no matter what it is, like you said, friendships, relationships, jobs. And then another thing that I like to kind of educate people on, even good situations can cause a loss, a sense of loss. So say, for instance, you got a promotion. You may not be with the same group of people or coworkers that you once were. You may be in a whole nother building or a different department or a whole nother city. Even though that was a good thing for you, you still have a loss, because now you've lost that bond and that, the friendships that you created with those coworkers. I mean, anything can create some sort of loss for you. So don't think just bad. It can be good things that create that sense of loss for you. But I know with my career, here I was deciding that this was my life a long time ago and this was going to be my career, and I was doing something that I loved. And I always believed that find a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I still believe that, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing now, because I love what I do. I help people. But I woke up one day and realized that I dreaded doing direct contact therapy with people. And that was major. It was huge. I mean, I cried like somebody had died.
Oh, yeah.
I literally, and for a while, I'm not just talking one day. I mean, it was like, really, God, I love this. This is who I am.
In a sense that you had, because you no longer felt what you had. And for months we were like, what do we want to do when we grow up? Like, what are we going to do? So it is, you just trying to figure it out. And then to take you back to you saying that it could be a positive thing. Like you said, you're leaving your comfort zone. So say you were in a position and then it is a promotion, but you're still leaving your comfort zone. You're losing those people that you probably depended on every single day.
Right.
And now you have to go find new people, or hope that you do. So we just have to, we always say this, me and Tina say this probably every day. You have to give yourself the same grace and mercy you would allow someone else. If you would understand them for going through it, or you would give them that good advice, give yourself that same advice. But to change a career that you were just so passionate about, and you are a caregiver and you do like to help, that is a loss, because now you're no longer doing it in that lane, but you're still doing it.
Yeah. And sometimes, people don't even realize that they've had losses or that they've had traumatic experiences. And I know as a therapist, and when I was actually seeing clients, some of the things that I would do with clients when they first come in is, one, it was the ACEs, what we call the ACEs. And it's adverse childhood experiences like worksheet. And so I would ask people, some of these questions like, have you experienced this? Have you experienced this in your life? So it was like 10 different questions. And a lot of people would answer the questions and get maybe 5, 6, or even more. And they never thought of those as traumatic experiences. And then when I tell them that this is why I'm asking this, because this may be some of your unresolved childhood experiences that are causing you some problems or trauma, now, maybe you've had some things in your childhood that traumatized you so much that you don't know how to have healthy relationships or things like that. Or you thought these were the norm because you've experienced this. So a lot of times people don't even realize traumas and losses and things like that. But again, if you've gone through something that's tremendously good, it could still be a loss. And it's okay to grieve a loss. And like you were saying, and again, I'm glad you said it and not me, but people will try to tell you, oh, that was a long time ago. Get over it.
That's not that big. That's not a big deal. Yeah.
It's your feelings. Your feelings are valid. And again, everybody grieves in their own little way, in their own process, and without being very book technical or anything like that. Don't let anybody tell you how long you have to grieve.
And don't let people minimize your trauma.
Correct.
Because what could be traumatizing to me may not be to the next person.
Exactly, because I tell people that too. You can line 10 people up, and they can all see the same thing. You can have it could be one person or 10 people that walk away being traumatized because they've all experienced it differently. It doesn't matter that you all saw the same thing. It's how you interpreted it, the perspective that you walked away with it.
And based on something that they went through.
Correct.
Yeah, like you could see somebody kick a ball on a playground and everybody walk away, but somebody could remember something bad about being on a playground, period, or being on a playground with somebody kicking a ball. So you can't minimize what people are going through, but we have to be a little more diligent when we're asking people, how are you? Do you really want to know? Or are you just saying it in passing?
Right. And I don't think, like you said, we should be a little more diligent, but without sounding corny or with sounding corny, what the world needs now is more love. For real.
Yeah, this is true.
We really do. We really need to love on one another, and we really need to be more concerned, genuinely concerned for others.
Yeah.
And so when you're saying, how are you doing? And someone's just saying, okay, maybe taking that moment to say, are you really okay? Or what does that mean? Because that's what I like to ask. But what does that mean? Because I know personally, I'll say okay in a heartbeat because I'm a helper and I'm a caregiver and I'm a giver. And so I'm always the one that's looking to help other people. I don't want anybody, to feel sorry for me or help me. So I'm not going to even tell you or the other one I like to use, I'm too blessed to be stressed. Whatever. I'm taking it off me and then and how are you today? Because I'm going to put it back on you because that's who I am. But honestly, we all are experiencing some sort of, things in our life.
Something that if somebody really wanted to hear what we had to say, we would have some stuff to say.
Correct.
So I think that it's just important that listen to people. Listen to what they're not saying. I guess I'll say that. Listen to what people don't say. But they, by all means, probably want you to dig a little. Because if somebody say, okay, I'm okay. Like when I answered Tina earlier, I'm okay. Tina know that's not my personality.
Right.
So if she talked to me and I was like, girl, I'm okay, she'd be like, come on over here so we can talk, because she knows that's not my personality. So you have your people, and those people should know when something is off with you, even if you use the I'm okay. Your people, they'll know that you're by all means not really okay.
So again, ask yourself, am I really okay? If you're saying I'm okay, but you know you're not okay, ask yourself, why am I not okay? What's going on with me? Like we talked about last time, you should be grateful and thinking with a half full glass, but it's okay to take inventory,
Right. And it's okay to be real. I mean, be real, because if you get yourself caught up in living in this fantasy world, you're going to get so caught up and so probably stressed out with living something that's not true, that's going to cause you additional stress as well, because nobody knows exactly what you're going through. And trust me, it's going to eventually show its head. Like you only can pretend for so long.
Right. Exactly. So it's okay to be not okay.
It is. And if I say I'm okay, I'm probably not. But then I shouldn't say that, because now everybody going to be listening for me to say okay. And they're going to be like, oh my God, send the people over there. She said okay. But normally I'm going to be like, I'm good, because most of the time I am good. And when I'm not, I guess I'll use it. If I'm not good, I'll be good. But that's really not the way to think. But y'all don't be really analyzing if I say I'm okay. I am. I mean, if you want to bring me some wine or something, I mean, come on over. But just every time I say I'm okay, don't be thinking like, oh my God, she said she just okay. Because I probably am okay. Because if I'm not, I do have my people that I will really lay it down on them. And they'll probably be like, God, I wish I would have just took her being okay and not Doug. But
but I just, like I said, I felt like this was something important to touch on today, because I know a lot of people do pretend to be okay, because maybe you're a parent and you have kids and you got to be okay for them. Or maybe, you're a spouse and your other spouse, your spouse is going through something and you have to be okay for them. Or you're a boss and things are going on at work and you got to be okay for them.
Right.
So you've taken that role and you're wearing that hat to be okay and be the strong person and the bigger person. But it's okay that you're not okay as well.
Right.
You don't have to necessarily broadcast it to the world, but just take care of yourself, take self-inventory, and if you need it, get the help and the support that you need from whatever, like I said, support or vice or person or religion or whatever you can do to make yourself better. Deal with it. If you don't feel like you're okay, deal with it. And I just felt like somebody out there today needed to hear that.
Right. And we all should be okay with telling ourselves, it's okay for me to say I'm not okay, because otherwise, how do you confront whatever you're going through and give your chance? And then just in other news, it's a lot of people, young and old, that are taking themselves out of here. Yes. And I guarantee you what was stressing them today, by Friday, it would have no longer been a problem had they given it a chance. So it's just important to not let things eat you up so bad that you would harm yourself. Make sure if you need to go away and just take an extra day off and just let people know where you are so they're not worried about you. But take that time or whatever that you need. Don't ever worry about what it looks like to somebody else.
Right.
That's it. Never worry about what your self-care is or your recharge looks like to somebody else. You just do it.
It's for you.
Yeah, it's for you. It's for you, and it's for you to remain sane, because some jobs and some people around you will make you question some things. They will. It'll make you question some things. So just make sure that you do think about yourself and that you address issues and concerns that you may have.
Because we're going to go through some things and we're going to have rough patches in our life, but you don't have to always pretend. Nobody's going to be okay
all the time. Right.
So I just want to encourage you that if you're not okay, it's okay to say that. I'm okay, but I'm not okay. Yeah. Or even I'm not okay. I'm dealing with something,
Right.
Especially if you're not someone that's just on this pity party tour.
Right.
Then it's definitely okay. But don't ever feel like you can't speak how you truly feel because it will affect someone else, or you may appear to be complaining or something. No, by all means, reach out to someone, a loved one, a therapist, a religious person, or pray, meditate. Do whatever you have to do, because especially right now, we're coming up on these holidays.
Right.
We talked about the holidays blues. If you're one of the people that's going through that, it's going to be rough.
Right.
And it's okay not to be okay.
Right. Now, you do have your negative Nancy's and your complaining Kathys that are never, like, no matter what you ask them, they could be winning the lottery, about to sign their check. Yeah. And you like, how you doing? Well, it could be better. And you looking at her like, really? This ain't enough? So you do have those people, but we all are allowed to have times when we're not 100% and we just might need somebody to listen, or you may just need somebody to be in your presence and y'all just silently sit. It's just whatever works for you. That's why I stress, don't worry about what it looks like to somebody else. You do what's going to give yourself the sense of peace that you need. Exactly. So that the next time Tina asks me, how you doing? I can be like, I'm good. Mm-hmm. And I can genuinely mean I'm good.
Right. Yeah. But I noticed that how are you feeling and how you doing really are two different questions.
Yeah.
And I've noticed too that I don't like to ask people that unless I really want to know. Right. Because a lot of times I may ask, what'd you do today? Because I don't want to deal with feelings. Yeah. How's your day? What did you do
if you break down on me or whatever and I wasn't prepared, give me a moment. So you're right. Yeah.
Just know that if you ask someone like, how are you doing or how are you feeling? Yeah. You may just get dumped on.
The business.
Or, someone tell you. So be prepared for that. If you ask someone, be ready. Be real about and concerned about, how they're doing or how they're feeling. And also, if someone asks you that, think about it. How am I doing or how am I feeling? And you don't have to say okay or good. You can say what you're really feeling or how you're really doing, especially if you're in a safe space with a safe person. Right. That's going to be able to comfort you and or listen to you. Sometimes it's all about just venting, just getting it out. We talked about things like that you can do to help when you're not feeling okay. Mm-hmm. Some of those things can be like journaling or just talking to a friend or family member, but don't be afraid to get it out. And I don't know. I don't even know how else to put it. I feel like now I'm just harping on it because I just felt like somebody out there today needs to hear this and somebody's going to feel this. And so if that was you, I hope you heard this. I hope you feel this. Reach out to anyone, your loved ones, family, friends, a therapist, your pastor, your reverend, your priest, whoever, somebody, and get the support that you need. And don't be afraid to tell people, I'm not okay.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to say how you really feel. Even if you don't feel like loading it out on the person at that moment, just let them know, no, I'm not okay, but I don't feel like talking about it right now. Because then hopefully that person cares enough to follow up with you. Mm-hmm. And it's not to like try to be all up in your business. Because if somebody told me that, I would just text them or something and say, whenever you're ready, I'll be here to listen, pretty much. So they know you're not going to push the issue, but you are interested in knowing what's going on if they want to tell you.
Right. And with everything that's going on around us right now, I'm quite sure that there's a lot of people that really aren't okay and may not be voicing that.
Right. I totally agree.
Because we have a lot of things going on in society, in the world.
Yes.
Just everything. I try not to even watch the news because I feel like sometimes it's too depressing. Mm-hmm. And I pick and choose what I want to take in because I'm like, I have enough trauma and drama in my own personal life without feeding my brain all this other stuff. But when I do, I realize that there's a lot going on around us and there's a lot that's affecting a lot of us. And so there's probably quite a few people that are not okay.
Yeah, and it's true. And then they say separate your work and home life. But if you hear something at work, because people will tell you or they'll call to ask me a question and they have to elaborate a little to ask me what they want to know. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't go in one ear and out the other. Like that stays on your mind because you always think, what if I'm the person that was making that final decision for this person? Mm-hmm. What if they called me as the last call to decide what they should do next? So you do. And I usually will follow up with the person and they're usually really surprised that I remembered to follow up with them. Write it down on the calendar. A couple of days, I'm going to follow up or whatever. Don't ever think that you're being too cheesy or anything, because that one gesture from you could be the decision maker for somebody, and people really are going through it.
Mm-hmm. And if you're on the other end, don't ever feel like you're a burden to someone,
right?
Because you're reaching out for help or calling somebody, or like I did, I just kind of email people's like, hey, this is what's going on with me and I'm not okay, you know,
right.
Because I felt like I had a safe space in those
right.
people to voice that. But then also letting them know, I realized that I'm not okay and I'm getting help. And it wasn't to dump or to really look to them for help. It was more so to help to explain what I'm going through and why I may be doing some of the things the way I'm doing them, or I'm acting the way that I am. And because those are the people that I care about and that I felt like cared about me. So I knew I had a safe space there. But then I knew that this is bigger than them.
Right.
You know?
Right. And just like I said earlier, we always think that when people say it takes a village, we always think to raise kids. Mm-mm. No, it takes a village for us adults to keep adulting successfully, because we're the ones carrying the weight. So you just have to know it's okay to rely on people. Get your people. Get your people and make sure that you guys are reciprocating. So one person's not getting drilled down, but just make sure you're utilizing and maximizing your people. And if you know that these are people that you can tell everything to, utilize them. Mm-hmm.
Because as we've said, life do be lifing, and adulting is hard.
It is.
I don't know how many times I've seen on like Facebook or social media, TikTok, or some people be like, adulting is hard. I wish I could just go back to childhood.
Yeah, I'm always don't want to be a big people no more. I probably say that. Yeah, I don't want to be a big people no more.
I don't want to do this anymore. It's hard.
Yeah,
you know?
I want to stay in a child's place. Right. I definitely would like to stay in a child's place. I threaten to be a stay-at-home daughter at least 10 times a week. So,
because you think about, you have bills.
Yeah.
You have, kids, if you have children or families that you're responsible for, you have way more responsibilities and obligations that you're, when you become an adult. When you're a kid, not so much. You just kind of, hopefully you have
But they think they're
life.
Stressed out. These kids really think they're stressed out. I'm like, oh, baby, you have no idea.
Yeah. But in their defense, some of them do have some situations.
Yeah, some of them do.
Differences that we didn't have to deal with, and or they may be in some situations at home that could be stressful.
Right.
But overall, being a child versus being an adult, I tell kids all the time, please stay a child.
Enjoy
as long
it.
As you can.
Enjoy it. Take your time.
Be a kid. Enjoy life. Have this carefree mentality and everything as long as you can, because once you become an adult,
there's no going back. I mean, you can, because I'm trying, and stay tuned for the outcome, because when it happened, I'm going to come back and tell y'all to try it, because it may work for y'all too.
No. It doesn't work. But anyway, I mean, for real, it's a lot when you think about the single parents or even the 2-parent homes that are trying to make it financially. And
right now, with everything being so expensive.
Right. Yeah. Inflation and stuff. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of different little things that could be affecting a lot of people in different ways that are making them not okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you able to eat?
I know. So since you brought up eating, so about last year or the year before last, sometime, I was going to go on a food tour. And what I was going to do was just stop at random people's house. I didn't have to buy groceries. And Tina was on that list. But Tina was so nice. She texted me one night and was like, I cook fried chicken. She felt so bad for me. She definitely was participating in the food tour. So if I ever come over your house and you notice this child stop over here every day around dinner time, it's on purpose.
Right.
It's definitely on purpose.
But you think about it, sometimes I think back to good times. Do you remember that episode where the lady, they thought she was eating like
dog food, cat food or dog. I remember that.
And I think about stuff like that. You never know who's really struggling, because sometimes people aren't telling you.
Yeah.
That's why I said it's okay not to be okay. And it's okay to tell people if you're not okay. If you need help, that's fine, because a lot of us need help in some area or another. Yeah. It may not even be financially. It may be mentally, it may be financially, whatever it is, but it's okay. Nobody's 100%.
Yeah, got it all figured out.
I promise you nobody's 100%. So don't be afraid to reach out for whatever your needs are. But again, I know that people are out here going through health problems. They're losing loved ones. They're having financial issues. People may have lost their jobs, whatever it is, lost kids or kids going through something, or you're being a caregiver now because you have elderly parents, or there's just so many different issues in our lives that we're going through, and they pull on our psyche,
They do.
And or our physical health.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if you're too emotionally overwhelmed, that stuff comes out physically.
Right.
I know it does for me.
Right.
It'll show up in other forms, whether it's, now you have IBS, or now you have acne or eczema, or you're losing your hair, or
insomnia, or anything.
You can't sleep, or now you're drinking all the time because you can't, you're upset, or whatever it is, it comes out in maybe even a physical form if you're really stressing.
And then as we age, the problems that you have, they do change because as you're getting older, your parents and your family is also getting older. So as you age, your responsibilities change and obligations change. So your stress factors, they also change. Like at one time, you probably say that you do have a family now, you used to didn't, where you only had to worry about yourself. And now as you get older, now you have to worry about yourself, your kids, or you may have taken in some nieces or nephews, because it's a lot of blended families and stuff now too, because people are just sticking together to do whatever to get by. So things change, but never discount because one person looks like they're living a good life and you feel bad to have to tell them that you're not, because you're kind of embarrassed or whatever. Keep it real, because nobody can help you. And we've said this before. Nobody can help you or offer you help if they don't know what's really going on.
Correct. You can't hold people accountable for stuff they don't know or you don't tell them.
Right.
So you can't get upset or at someone because they didn't reach out or they didn't help you because you didn't tell them.
Right.
You kept telling them, I'm good. I'm okay.
Yeah. Because that's definitely what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, oh God, I thought that they were okay. They told me they were okay.
Yeah. And I know a lot of you aren't, because like I said, I haven't been. If I have to say right now in the here and now, yeah, I'm okay. And it's okay to live in the here and now. But again, be honest with yourself if you're not okay, whether it's in the here and now or just in your life in general. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to reach out and get the help that you need, people.
Right. And don't be afraid to create your own peace. If it's somewhere where you can find peace, and I keep stressing this, it doesn't matter what it looks like to me. If it's what brings you peace and can get you to the next day, then that's what you do.
Correct. Yes. And I just want to say to anyone out there listening who really may not be okay, the 988 Lifeline is a national network of local crisis centers that provides free and confidential emotional support to people in crisis or who are suicidal or who may be experiencing emotional distress. They offer this assistance 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in the United States. The 988 Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention and crisis resources for you and your loved ones. Just call or text 988, or you can chat on their website at 988lifeline.org, 988lifeline.org. Another thing I'd like to share with you all out there listening, if you are struggling, it's okay to share your feelings. The International Association for Suicide Prevention, they had some great kind of suggestions to reach out to or contact a loved one and express your feelings if you're ever feeling really low or feeling hopeless or suicidal. Some of the suggestions they give is to maybe text a loved one or a contact that you feel safe with and just say, when you get a chance, can you contact me? I feel really alone and suicidal and could use some support. Another suggestion they give, text, I don't want to die, but I don't know how to live. Talking with you may help me feel safe. Are you free to talk? And another is to text someone and say, this is really hard for me to say, but I'm having painful thoughts and it might help me to talk to you. Are you free? And I've given those suggestions because some people may not know how to reach out or what to say in those type of situations or moments. So those are just some suggestions. Of course, you could send a message stating whatever you like. But if you're at a loss for words, those suggestions may help. We can all do our part to help prevent suicide, people.
So about time you, ladies and gentlemen, hear this podcast, we will hope that you have had a very nice Thanksgiving holiday with your loved ones. We'll hope that you got you some good deals on Black Friday and didn't knock nobody out too much or hit nobody with the basket or nothing like that.
Right.
But we'll hope that you've enjoyed the time with your family, because holidays are important, but at the same time, remember to pull yourself away if you need to recharge, because sometimes holidays and family time can be exhausting as well. So just remember to take care of yourself during the holidays, but make sure you enjoy your people and let them know that you're enjoying them, and make sure that you know that it's okay to not be okay. So if you need to regroup and recharge, that's okay.
Right. So just to leave you guys with a couple of little tips or quotes or something like Doc would say, put in your pocket and save for later. You know, trust yourself. You've survived a lot. You know, we've all gone through a lot. Just don't give up, people. And also, it's completely self-empowering to say, I'm not okay. But it's not okay to stay that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Until next time, stay hopeful
and stay curious.
Before we part ways, we invite you to share your own stories, thoughts, and reflections with us. Connect with us on social media, reach out through our website, or simply leave a comment on your preferred podcast platform. Feel free to leave us in voicemail at 816-607-1243 with any thoughts, concerns, or questions that you'd like shared on Lifing 101 or just answered or addressed. If you prefer to send us an email, feel free to do so by sending it to our website, lifing101pod.com, or send us an email to info@lifing101pod.com. Your insights and experiences enrich our shared understanding of this incredible journey we're all a part of. Please subscribe to this podcast and follow our website, lifing101pod.com, and find and follow us on your favorite social media platforms. Stay hopeful, stay curious, and keep embracing the vibrant, unpredictable, and awe-inspiring journey that we call life. Goodbye for now, and may your days be filled with endless wonder.